what a lot of people don't understand with insurance agents is they just don't think they need or want business. They don't think they want or need referral. They don't think about it. And the thing is you don't want to ask, because all that's going to do is put people off.
Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast. You are going to so enjoy this one. One of the events that we help launch and we help coordinate and help people host are grand opening events. It's one of the things that we get the most questions on is how do I do a launch party? How do I do a grand opening? I've been in business for 3 years. Can I do a grand opening? Can I do a launch party? The answer is yes, you can. So I think that we're going to go deep and answer a lot of those questions for people today. And guess what? This is not even in the real estate world. This is going to be from the insurance world. But guess what? Every single thing that he says applies to you. You're going to love every minute of it. You're going to love Parker as much as I love him. And I will tell you, it's going to be an amazing thing. And here's the thing is, listen, it's the new year. We're cranking along. Can you believe January is almost over? I mean, it's like, what the heck? This has gone so fast. And I'm sure you're in different stages of your New Year's resolution and goal setting. And you're like, oh God, I'm so behind on my goals, or I'm so lax on my Don't worry about it. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. And just know that everything you do daily is going to accumulate, and you're going to see the big giant payoff in the end. And I can't wait for you for us all to dive into this. And the last thing is I just want to thank you. You have helped us start 2024 with record-setting numbers on this podcast. Where the heck did all you people come from? I love it. Bring it on. Welcome to the Generosity Generation, and thank you for tuning in today, and we're going to get right to it. Now, I have to give a shout-out to the Generosity Generation. We are on fire. You are on fire. 3 referrals yesterday in the Generosity Generation group. And guess what? We're averaging about a referral a day this year being passed within the Generosity Generation group. If you're not in it, you are invited. Just let us know that you heard about it from the podcast. Join gengen.com, JOINGENGEN.com, and you can join the Generosity Generation group. And it is a big referral group, and it is a tribe of trust. So get involved in that. And then the last thing is, listen, this is your last chance. It's time to get an event mastery class. We only take 100 students. Why? It's individualized, it's customized. We do a lot of personal coaching in it. We have a lot. If you ask questions, you're going to get all your questions answered. Like, think about how many different scenarios where you've been to an event, you had these 7 questions at the end of the event, and you never had time to get them answered because the coaches didn't spend any time. Every single one of your questions will be asked. It's 7 weeks. I am going to hold your hand on hosting a referral generating event. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be there every week, live, talking to you, and so on and so forth. But not only that, I've got 2 assistant coaches, 2 certified event coaches in Nicole Aldaz and Monique Harps, who are going to help you too. And they've done hundreds and helped hundreds of people have events as well. So check out eventmastery.com. Isn't that a great URL? Eventmastery.com. Doesn't it just say it all? Well, speaking of, maybe eventmastery.com doesn't say it all. Maybe we need to say a little more. And that's why we are here today with Parker Smith. I'm very, very excited to welcome Parker Smith as our guest today. Parker is the force behind the Parker Smith State Farm Agency. His name is not Jake, people. A venture he established in 2017 with a clear mission to provide outstanding insurance services and safeguard the assets of his beloved South Carolina community. Since becoming a licensed insurance agent with State Farm in 2015, he has been dedicated to ensuring the well-being of his clients. Parker is not only a seasoned professional, but also an alumnus of Clemson University, holding both a bachelor's and master's degree in communication studies. Is this guy awesome already or what? Let's go. Beyond his professional pursuits, Parker is a family man. He has been married to his wife, Mary Pat, for 8 years, and together. Now, I want you to know, we can help all of our clients become productive And something that's been amazing is lately we've also helped them become reproductive, it seems. What the heck is in the water in the Generosity Generation group? He has been married to his wife, Mary Pat, for 8 years, and together they navigate the joys of parenthood with their 3 children, Curtis, Mary Brown, and Walker, who are all under the age of 4, people. That's amazing. So he does all this and more, and we're going to hear more about it and all of that with all the things that he's going, 3 kids under 4. And he just had a very successful event. Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, Parker Smith.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate being on here. I've been a long time listener of the podcast and happy to be on here and hopefully provide some value.
Well, you're going to. I definitely appreciate it. And man, a lot of exciting things happening in Parker Smith's world right now with the children and the second office. I mean, which is like having 5 children. You have 2 offices and 3 children. That's like having 5 children.
We're busy in the Smith household. I mean, we've definitely had to put our calendar, a shared Google calendar, just to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page. It's busy, but we're super blessed.
Well, that's what I love about it is I had a conversation with Mary Pat, and she said that, you know what, I think he opened the second office just so that he can have something to do where he doesn't have to change diapers all day. Yep. But I think that's just a rumor. I'm betting you help with the diapers. That's what I'm betting.
I try.
Well, all right. So you coach with Carla, one of our esteemed coaches here. And she mentioned that you just opened that second office with a grand opening, and congratulations on the opening. And I heard you did a grand opening event for this. Can you tell us a little bit about what motivated, like why do a grand opening, and kind of what motivated you to do it?
Sure. Well, I've been a part of the Referrals podcast community. I found out about you guys in 2018, 2019. And I've been following the podcast, doing a bunch of, your strategies, like, first and 10 and one-on-ones. And, you always push events. And I had the chance in 2023 to open up a second location about 30 minutes from where I'm from. I already have a lot of relationships there with family and friends, but I really wanted to build a ton of momentum. We were opening in November. So I joined Event Mastery in August. And I had heard, I think it was a podcast you did with a realtor who did a grand opening, and it just sounded like it was a great success. So I knew that this would be something that would fit well with me. So I joined the Event Mastery in August.
That's awesome. Where are your events? Where are your offices? Excuse me.
So my offices are in South Carolina. I'm in the upstate of South Carolina. So I'm about 2 hours from Atlanta, 2 hours from Charlotte. My first office is in my hometown of Anderson. And then Greenville, which a lot more people have heard of. Greenville, South Carolina is where my second location is. It's about 30 minutes from where I'm from. So just an amazing opportunity to open up a second location. But, I wanted to make sure that I could really get the word out about us being able to help people there. And I knew that events would be the way to do it.
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad I asked that question on where they were in your background a little bit, because Anderson, you feel right at home. You have that office, you've lived there, you know a lot of people. There's a comfort zone with Anderson. And then you're going to Greenville and it's like, oh, well, I don't know as many people. It's a bigger market. It's a new office. It's a little scary. So like, what did you do? I mean, did you have some of those fears going in that, man, I don't know as many people here, so I don't know how many people are going to show up, right?
Yeah, that's right. With them being closer together, I did make it an all YAP event. So I invited everybody that I knew. So I invited around 250 people. We'll get into this a little bit later, but we had a lot of people show up. It ended up being a great event. But yes, I definitely had that fear of, I have family and friends in Greenville where my second office was opening, but, business partners, just community members, I don't know as many. I'm still establishing those relationships, but this was a great way to, call these people that I didn't know, invite them to something that would hopefully be exciting to them, do something that's a little different for a grand opening. And that was a great segue to introduce myself to a lot of people.
Yeah, I love it. What a great first impression for the maybe the new members in the community who had never kind of known you or heard about you. So, you said that it's an all yap versus a top yap. And for those that are maybe new to us, and we have a lot of you, so welcome, is an all yap is all yearly appreciation plan event. And YAP is yearly appreciation plan in this case. And an all YAP is you're going to invite everyone you know. And you invite people on social media, you invite the whole city, you invite, you're going to maybe even invite some strangers, but your focus is everyone you know or new, and invite all of them. And will they attend? Who knows, right? And then you have the Top Yap, and the Top Yap is your yearly ambassador program. And that's what the YAP means in Top Yap. Well, these are for your top people, VIPs. It's a very exclusive event. It's private. You're not blasting it all over social media. You're not doing any mass or bulk invites. You're just really focusing on keeping your ambassadors ambassadoring. That means you really need some special events, not very many, 3 or 4 a year, for your top people, so that, because guess what? They deserve more. They're your biggest fans. They're your biggest cheerleaders. So you need to spend a little more time on them. This is the perfect example of an all YAP event, though. It is a grand opening where you want to kind of become top of mind and top of heart of a community. And what a great start. Well, first thing is you invited 250 people. How many people ended up attending?
Yeah, so I do want to give a little bit of context too. Of I still was able to create a space to make my top people feel special. So, Michael, I don't know about you, but ribbon cutting, grand opening, like anytime I've been invited to a ribbon cutting at an office, I'm not really excited.
Yeah.
And even more so, my new location is in a strip mall. There's not a ton of space. So I was already kind of struggling with the fact of inviting over 200 people. Well, heck, what if a lot of these people come and there's nowhere for them to park and nowhere for them to be? So I ended up doing a ribbon cutting at my office with the chamber, with my family, with my team, and with my top VIP business partners. So I invited all of them. And that was earlier in the day. Okay. It was about 3:00. And then we had our all YAP event, excuse me, at 4:00. And that was from 4 to 7. And luckily for me, there was an indoor outdoor brewery pretty much right across the street. Nice. With a barbecue restaurant attached to it. So that's where I really spent the majority of my people inviting them to that, where we had food, we had drinks. I even utilized the first drink was on me. I used your golden ticket strategy, which I'd be more than happy to share. But that worked really well, and that created a fun environment, family, friends. I got to see there were a bunch of kids there, because another barrier is, hey, this is from 4 to 7. I'm going to have to get a babysitter. Right. I took that barrier out and said, hey, kids are welcome. And I made sure to put that in the invitation. So we had 250 people that we invited. 150 people said that they were coming. And then about 90 people came to the actual event. Okay. And I had a lot of people text me that day of, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it for X, Y, or Z. Well, one thing that you teach in the event mastery is even the invitation and the follow-up after. I still reached out to 250 people. I had another insurance agent that works with State Farm that I invited to the event, and she commented to me afterwards. She said, your team, they are on it with these invitations. I got about six calls and texts and emails. And what she doesn't know is that I was using the event mastery program, the invitation script. Yeah. But that she commented, that was actually a couple of weeks ago, how impressed she was with that. But it ended up being a great event. We got a lot of momentum from it. And I'm happy to talk about that.
Yeah, 90 attendees to a ribbon cutting grand opening is amazing. That gives you a great baseline for future things to do. But I have to point out that the brilliance of what you did is that you didn't make it the typical ribbon cutting or grand opening. I've been members of chambers all my life. All my working life. And listen, usually it's you go there and it's 30 minutes of networking where you just mingle. And sometimes they have finger food. And the networking is worth something. It has value, but you're kind of, and especially if it's an office, you're touring, you're walking through the office, which is like, you'll never see that again in your life. Probably, you're not going to see the back end of an insurance office, hopefully. And, and then they try to gather everybody, which is almost impossible because of how these offices are configured. And then they do the announcement, and the chamber shakes your hand, and we all leave. And you're right. It's pretty boring. It's pretty, congested. Typically, parking is sometimes a pain in the butt, and they're not fun, right? The funnest part is the networking. But what you did is that you incorporated the brewery with the inside outside area and the food, and you're buying the first drink. I mean, there was a lot more incentive of people to show up. So
Right.
I love
Right.
that. I love
And
how you made it fun.
what I ended up doing is when people came to the event, we had our huge State Farm tent, so people couldn't miss us, and they had to register in order to get a drink ticket. And that was just simply the registration form that you teach on Event Mastery of, all contact information, like who do I know who is currently looking to buy a home or buy a new car or looking to switch their auto insurance. Like so many of the things that are taught with Referrals podcasts is obviously leaned towards, realtors and mortgage lenders and financial planners. But I mean, the concepts you can adapt in any industry.
That's right.
So, and also one thing we had on there was the QR code to leave a Google review. It was a brand new office, had no Google reviews, and we got, I think about 25 Google reviews that
Oh my
night.
gosh.
So helps with SEO. So, I mean, there were just a ton of things that we were able to do. And we partnered with a charity. It was around Thanksgiving. So we had the food pantry come, and we raised enough. We raised enough canned goods to feed about 30 families. So again, I mean, doing something good in the community, that's an amazing touch point for after the event. Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for bringing this. You helped 30 families on Thanksgiving. And I'm not doing it for selfish reasons, but like you've said this before, it elevates me in the eyes of people when we're doing something good for other people. So, I mean, it's just a win-win when you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do good. You can do well by doing good. Right.
Right.
And, I love that. So, and, I love that you incorporated the charity, one of the arms of the event. And what you made 30 families Thanksgiving's a whole lot better, which, if nothing else happened, that's a pretty good success story right there.
That's right.
And all right. So what, did you receive any referrals personally?
I did. And,
Yeah, talk to me about the referral game. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I ended up putting on the fill out card essentially was, what do you do and how can I send you business?
Okay.
And then I put underneath, do you currently have State Farm? Would you like a quote on your insurance? And I had 5 people respond back saying that they were interested, followed up with them, close some business. But even more so, it's hard to answer that question because I had a lot of business partners there that do send me business. And it was a great event to strengthen those relationships. And I've had a great start to 2024 with referrals being sent our way. So I think that that's an overflow from the event.
Yeah, I love that. Well, what you've got to do is you've got to create a referral culture. What a lot of people don't understand with insurance agents is they just don't think they need or want business. They don't think they want or need referral. They don't think about it. And the thing is you don't want to ask because all that's going to do is put people off. But by having it in a way that they have a choice, like they can leave that question blank or they
Right.
can put no with no sweat, like they just breeze through it. There's no awkwardness, no, oh my God, I can't believe he's asking for referrals on a form, right? And it's like they get it, they're fine. But what it does is it puts in their head that, you know what, Parker wants and needs referrals. He works by referral. He's, and you start to build this referral culture. And it would not surprise me if your next event, you don't double or triple those numbers simply because now they're all thinking about it. They weren't even thinking about it before. They see your new office, they see your, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's so successful. Well, a lot of times they forget that, man, they want and need business because they're so successful. So you planted the seed essentially, and that's gonna bear fruit. It's already borne fruit a little bit, and it's going to bear even more later. The other thing too is, real estate's my background, but events are ubiquitous, right? I mean, it's like anybody can throw an event to get business. I really feel that way. I mean, even a sanitation company that we worked with did dumpster days in neighborhoods to just take over neighborhoods for their trash service. So it's like it will literally work for almost anything. And I love how you've incorporated it, and you weren't intimidated to be in a room full of realtors. You're like, I'm just going to implement and do this and do it the way I can.
Right.
So how many outgoing referrals did you get? Did you send outgoing referrals to certain business partners, or, I'd be interested, like how many people said they're looking to buy a home, right? That's not just for you. That would be a great outgoing referral for your realtor partners.
Yes. So for outgoing referrals, it really opened the conversation for me to be able to follow up and have another call with them and kind of learn more about their business and who their ideal client is. Right. So I actually, that was one thing that I probably could improve for the next event, is have more, even if it's not an outgoing referral in terms of here is a client that, that you can get business, but maybe even a industry partner that, hey, I know a great stager, or I know a great landscaper that I think, or a roofer, since I work in the insurance industry, that would be great for you. So that's probably something I could have improved on that. But the one thing I will say is it did open up the conversation for me to call them again and say, hey, you told me that you're a landscaper. Tell me what kind of clients you're looking for. So I was able to have that conversation multiple times. And that was, again, providing value to them, and it not being all about me and who can you send me. It's really, hey, let's open up a two-way street and help each other grow our business.
Well, let me ask you on that. And you may not have these numbers, and this is definitely off script, but it's one of those where what percentage of the people would you say were 9-to-5ers that work at a corporation or company versus business development, salespeople, owners of small businesses, people who need business? Like, what would you say the percentages were
at the event? Yeah, I would say probably 60% were 9-to-5ers. So those were friends, family, customers, and then the other 40% were sales, people that are in the same kind of business that I'm in, people that I have working relationships with, and inviting them. And those were also my top VIP. So they were invited. They were invited to the ribbon cutting as well. Yep. And some of them came, but I gave them the option of, hey, we have two things. Like, if you can only make one, come to the more fun event at 4:00. Yeah. Would love to see you. Would love to see you there. But yeah, I would probably say 60-40.
Okay. Very good. The only reason I was asking is, I can't help it. A coach is going to coach, right? So where's the opportunity? And first of all, this is such a great example of like how I apply these 4 questions I live by. And these 4 questions I live by are, one of them is, what is your biggest challenge right now? But let's put that to the side. And then another one is, what is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier and or unnecessary? Thank you, Gary Keller, from the one thing. Yes. And all right, so that definitely applies here. But the next 2 really apply, which is, where's my biggest opportunity and where do I have momentum? And it's like, all right, you've got momentum with certain people on there. And you also have like an opportunity with, let's say there's 30 people there that were business to business or the business development type. Your best follow-up might be another event. It might be just a gathering of those people, right? And literally just make it about networking and some food. You know what I mean? So sometimes the best follow-up to an event is an event, a smaller event. So I think you've got some real opportunity there with those people, and now kind of their ideal client and that kind of thing. And you thought, well, I know the ideal client. What if 25 other people knew what your ideal client was?
Yeah. The thing,
so kind of a de facto networking group without the formality of
Right.
we're going to meet every month. I wouldn't do that. I would just like, get them together and say, hey, listen, you're the best of the best that I know. And there's another reason, there's an ulterior reason behind this, Parker. The ulterior motive is now you have sponsors for future events. Right.
Yeah.
But the first one is networking. Everybody's hanging out and they get a chance to introduce themselves for 1 minute, kind of like a BNI without you got to attend every week at Tuesday at 7 a.m. Right. It's just, we're going to get together and you make it fun, right? Make it and productive. So anyway, it's a thought.
One thing that's cool about the event mastery group is, I mean, obviously going through the classes, but by going to the class, you have access to the Facebook group where you see, I mean, you have hundreds of ideas and you're not having to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So there have been so many things I've seen on there. I'm like, oh, I need to do an ice cream thing in the summer, or I need to do a networking after hours thing at this brewery. We'll do it again. So, I mean, there are just so many ideas you can get from it.
Yeah, and we're coming up on Valentine's Day. There's I mean, how many different aspects of love can we incorporate into that week? There's a real opportunity. I love networking, right? The week of Valentine's Day makes a lot of sense. I love business. I love referrals. There's enough of those stickers going around. So I think there's some real opportunities for people that are listening to this to, where is the opportunity? Where's the opportunity coming up? Well, and the other thing too is I preach and preach. There is nothing like post Super Bowl business. Like it seems like people get into hibernation in December. No, actually, kind of Halloween. They start eating candy, and the diet just thrown out the window, right? And then Thanksgiving comes, and there's like the diet is fully out the window. Like you're in full blob mode, right? And then Christmas is coming, so you do the gifts and you spend a lot of money. And in some cases, it's like money that was already pretty lean anyway, but your kids are used to a certain level of gifts, so you give them. And then January, you don't have any money, right? And January, it's cold. It was cold all across the United States this year in January. And then like it seems like that Super Bowl happens and everybody seems to come out of hibernation. And it seems like they start to buy homes. They start to need insurance. They start to buy cars. They start, it just seems like there's,
Yeah.
So what a great way to launch that is with an event, get people together as they're coming out of hibernation and, help them launch their year in a great way. So I feel the interview time on this is perfect and you're giving them a great model to follow and a lot of inspiration to make it happen. So
Right.
Love it. What was there anything else special about this event other than kind of what we've talked about here?
I mean, the charity was great. I already mentioned that. I do think the golden ticket strategy of, making them come to you in order to get. So I was by the registration table at the beginning, at least, and I had the drink tickets. So people were coming to me and it just gave a great opportunity for me to see every single person. I think that is huge. I got that from the lender in California that does the movie events. I can't remember his name.
Scott Edwards.
Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me when I listened to him say that. But I mean, that's such a great idea. And it really gets, because I found because of the amount of people and they're all coming to to celebrate me and us opening this office. I felt like the groom at my wedding where I was just getting turned around constantly talking to people, which is amazing. But you can miss people that way. So doing the golden ticket at the beginning was a great chance for me to see everybody.
That's right. And so for those of you that don't really know what that is the golden ticket is just simply what are they coming for? If they're coming for a drink, they're coming for food, they're coming for a gift, they're coming for a pie, then you have a registration table that's required in Event Mastery. You got to have a place where it stops and you take control of the experience. And if you take control of the experience, they're going to have a better experience, which is just like a real estate transaction or an insurance transaction. If the other person's in control and you're in reactive mode, it's the worst thing in the world. But if you're in control and you handle the process and the experience, everybody wins. Well, it's the same way with an event. So the thing is that they register and they've got to fill it out. And then they like are sent to you in many cases. Now I've done this. People have seen me do this with RMS since 2010, right? And it's like, I have the ticket for the drink. So you go to the registration table and they go, well, you need to go to the Michael to get your drink ticket. So they go to me, and usually we don't want to set up next to the registration table because then you have two lines right next to each other, but you want to triangulate your attractions, right? We call it triangulate your attraction. What are the attractions? Registration table's an attraction. You are an attraction. Where they get the drinks, which is the bar, is an attraction. So you don't want to be next to the bar either. You want to be in a far corner or another angle. So it's line and then line for you, and then a line at the bar. And the drink ticket, straight from Jack Mitchell's book, Hug Your Customers, it gives you an opportunity to hug your customers. And a hug might be a fist bump. It might just be a hello. It might be a hug, and so it's an opportunity for you to touch and thank them for coming. And that way nobody feels left out, and they've all had some interaction. And the other thing too, is you get the opportunity to love on your people. And imagine I've got 1,000 people at RMS. It's really hard for me to get to everybody, but because we have this system that forces interaction, it really does. And guess what? I literally have some right here from a recent event we did, literal golden tickets that was good for a free drink. So nice. It's one of those where it's a great strategy to kind of force interaction. And, also what it has done for a lot of people like Scott and yourself is it forces you to not work the registration table. That's like rule number one. You are not working the registration table. Get somewhere else and kind of get the flow going. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm glad we got a chance to get into that strategy. It's one of my favorite strategies from Event Mastery, and I love that. All right. So now let's switch gears real quick and talk about your 5-year automated follow-up campaign. What are you doing with 5-year follow-up? And a lot of people don't understand in the insurance world, it's a lot about residuals. In real estate, in many cases, it's like now business, now transactions, and few think far enough to understand residuals. I, with housewarming parties, wealth building committees, and the events, understood the power of long-term real estate clients. Well, in insurance, you guys have understood it since insurance began. So what is your 5-year automated follow-up campaign, and how does it work?
Yeah. So this is something I'm super excited about. This is actually something that I am doing to provide value to my business partners. So it's less about a 5-year marketing thing for me. It's more of something I'm using for value with the business partners that I work with. I do want to say before I get into it, with me opening up the second location, I was just so busy. It was really hard for me to, implement the strategies that I'm used to implementing, like first and 10 and writing thank you notes and those kind of things. Well, I dedicated to Carla, my coach, that, hey, 2024, no matter what happens, I am going to make sure that I carve out time for this because it's super important. And whoever those people are for you, like, for me, it is realtors and mortgage lenders because I'm at the tail end of the process, the home buying process. Doing first and 10, doing the great retrace where I'm thanking people who actually sent me the referral and the person who sent me the referral before that. Yeah. Especially with real estate teams. That has been people have said to me, you are the first person who has called me to give me an update on the insurance. And for realtors, for mortgage lenders, financial planners, doing those quick calls, we just all get so busy. Me last year, I got so busy that I neglected it, but all of us are busy. And if you just spend, 30 minutes a day or an hour a day making these calls, it's never been a bad phone call with giving someone an update. Like, Michael, if you were the realtor I was working with, hey, Michael, your client, Sierra, she's moving forward with us. I'm going to send you everything. I really appreciate the introduction. That's a 5-minute phone call. And then we can kind of shoot the breeze, and I've strengthened that relationship. Yep. So even before I get into this 5-year marketing thing, even just doing the first and 10, writing thank you notes, the basics, if you actually do it, it is incredible.
Yeah. 100%. And it doesn't cost much and it doesn't take much time. And
That's right.
it's just like it costs a lot more not to do them than it does to just do them. And I love that point. That's a great emphasis for everybody to remember. And just the little touches, when you get a referral, just touch up. And it can be something as simple and fast as a text message. And that's above and beyond what most people ever get from a referral. It's so funny. I'm currently in the process. We're getting ready to launch the certified referral agent designation, and I just recorded this module on agent to agent referrals and referrals, like how to be a great communicator. And it's just amazing to me how many referrals I got by simply updates, the great retrace, and informing and just being a great referral partner is it. I mean, I don't know anywhere else that they teach it. A lot of people teach how to try to get referrals, but I just see an open space and a gap in like how to keep referral partners referring and how to communicate and who's more important. You just reemphasize this is who's more important, the referral source or the referral? Who's more important, the referral source or the client? And I know that 99% of the world is going to say the client is more important because the client is number one and we got to treat clients, and everybody talks about how they treat clients. But let me ask it in a different way, is who's more valuable, the golden egg or the golden goose? And the golden goose is more valuable than the golden egg. And who's the golden goose? It's the referral source. So what is your referral source follow-up system? And you nailed it. You nailed it. Is how
I was just going to
important
say the golden goose. I was going to, if you didn't say it, I was going to say it. And it is so true.
Yeah, I always have to be careful asking questions that are off script to people, right? I answer them myself because I know the answer, right? So it's like you hit it though. You're right. It's the golden
Right.
goose, and it's the same as in the fairy tale, right?
Right.
So
But going back to the 5 year, I'm always thinking about how can I add value? And I think that this applies to this applies again to any industry where you're the last person to find something out. So like I am at the end of the food chain in the home buying process. I'm the last person to find out that Michael's client is buying a home. Michael is going to find that out before me. So I always like what I've always led with, and it's true, is hey, Michael, I'm going to be a great extension of your team. I'm going to take care of your client. I'm going to build you up. And I do that stuff, and that's important, but I'm not building up your business at all. You're building mine up, but I'm not really giving anything in return besides just taking care of your client, which is important. So I've always kind of struggled with that about how can I do this? So I was Googling something at the end of this year, and Michael, you probably know this stat, but it's 90, it really struck a chord with me. 90% of clients are satisfied with their realtor.
mm-hmm.
But when it comes time for them to buy again, only 15% use the same realtor.
Yeah,
And
which has gone up, by the way. It used to be 83% were at closing. They said they would use the same agent again, but only 11% did. And 90% now said they would, and 15% now do. I mean, it's crazy how low those numbers are. I mean,
and I would imagine the people in this community is higher than that, but there's probably still some ground to gain. So what I discovered is, okay, I can't, give the realtor or the person I'm working with a referral on the front end, but I'm going to help that real estate agent and that mortgage lender when they look to buy in the next 5 to 7 years. I'm going to make sure that I help market on the back end for that realtor and lender so that whenever it comes time for them to buy, they're going to use them. So simply put, all that I do, all the clients, the vendors that I work with, whenever they send me a referral and I help them with the insurance for the next 5 years, I'm going to send 3 greeting cards a year that go along with national holidays like St. Patrick's Day, July 4th, New Year's Eve. And on the inside flap, it's going to have some tagline about insurance that goes with the day. So for St. Patrick's Day, it's like, we're the luckiest leprechauns in town. Mm-hmm. But it's signed by the home buying team, which the home buying team is me, the insurance agent, the realtor, and the lender. And it's going to have our names and phone numbers. And I'm going to send that to the client it's going to be essentially free for the realtor and the lender. They don't have to do any work if they don't want to, but I am going to notify them and say, hey, I just sent out this St. Patrick's Day card. This is what it looks like. This is what it said. If you want to call them or text them, here are some things that I would think about saying. So that is going to, add massive value, going to get repeat business. It says there's stats that say you need to touch someone 20 to 30 times in a year. I'm going to be helping you touch them 3 times. So I'm a small piece of the pie, but again, I don't know anyone in my industry that's doing this. So I'm super excited about it. I just rolled it out. Carla helped me come up with it because she worked in a business similar to mine where she was on the tail end being in the title business.
Yep.
So it's just something we're really pumped about. And I think anyone listening to this is, how can I provide value that's different and that helps them build their business as well?
Right. Yeah, I love that. And it reminds me, I'm going to give a shout out to Old Republic Home Warranty. And when I was in Kansas City doing a lot of real estate, Janelle Anderson was my warranty rep. And she actually would get notification when my past clients used the warranty. So if somebody used the warranty to get a new furnace or used the warranty to get plumbing done or whatever it was, it would pop up and it would say how much they saved. So she would then give me the cards with the names and phone numbers and address of those clients. And a part of my first and 10 every single day that I had them was to call off these cards. And what a great service from Old Republic Home Warranty, because there's no happier time than after a client gets a brand new furnace, for a $55 deductible that would have cost them $5,500 to put in. So I would call them and say, hey, how'd it go with, the warranty? Aren't you glad you had the warranty? Aren't you glad we negotiated the warranty in? I mean, it's like, man, that thing has become a little bit of a lifesaver for a lot of my clients. And it sounds like but it was just an excuse and a reason to call, but it's a great excuse and reason to call. You're doing the same thing, is you're giving them a great excuse or a great reason to call and helping that 90-10, become a lot greater for your partners out there. And it might be a thing to look at your warranty rep. I know South Carolina does warranty. There's some states that don't do very, like Northeast doesn't do a ton of warranties, but it's like the warranty rep might make a good partner on this too. But I love it. And you're also doing something that's very critical that we talk a lot about. I talked about in the Triangle of Trust episodes that I did last year, is the aspect of cross-selling. You're selling that realtor. You're selling that lender again to the client. It's not them being, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. It's you saying that they're the best. And that's 100 times more powerful than any of their promotional marketing.
Right. Yep. And, going back to your example of the warranty company, no other warranty company is doing that. So who are you going to refer? That warranty company. Because
to the tune of 2,100 transactions, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, they are doing something very valuable for you to help you with your clients. So I'm doing something similar, and I'll be so many real estate agents, their CRM already does birthday cards or home anniversaries. So I won't be doing anything like that because I don't want there to be double. But I will be texting the realtor and lender, hey, it's your client's birthday today, reach out. Huge. And just helping them, market to their clients. So in 5 to 7 years, they use them again.
Yeah. Love it. I'm just curious, what are the lenders and agents you're talking to about this program said about it?
They're really excited. So, I mean, it has given me, I have more one-on-ones on my calendar over the next 2 months than I have had in a long time. And I've had a great excuse to hey, I need to get on your calendar. This is something that I'm super excited about. It's going to grow your business. So I've met with 3 people so far. I have about 30 people I'm currently working with. So you can tell I'm just starting. Yeah. All 3 of them are super excited. And, it gives me another over the next 5 years, I have a reason to reach out to these realtors and lenders and say, hey, I just sent another card. So it gives me a great excuse for a first and 10.
That's right. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up. I mean, it sounds like you've read 7L a few times and you're doing this referral mastery system and you're kind of embedded in it and doing some referral mastery academy stuff and getting coached with Carla. Let me just throw out like an umbrella question and let you just kind of answer that is, how has 7L and the referral mastery system shaped like how you do business?
Well, in my industry, so many people are, and it's been a year or so since I've read your book, so I can't remember the name of the agent who bought internet leads. Don, is it Don?
Don Dasick.
Yeah.
Don
So,
Dasick. Yeah. I bought internet leads and have billboards all over the place.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how so many people in my industry do things. And I've done that for an extent, but I've just been thinking through how can I build a better business that I enjoy. And so I went online and just Googled, referral books. And so I bought like 6 books, 5 books, something like that. And 7L was one of them. And there's just, I mean, it's in story form, but I have most pages underlined in some way. And there's so many strategies, but you're able to really pick the ones that fit well for you. And I think the first and 10 is a must. I think, the thank you notes is a must because nobody does that anymore. I've been an agent for 8 years. I have not once gotten a thank you note from a business partner.
Wow.
So, which is a shame. But when I send a thank you note, I just know that it's meaning that much more.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then I love the great retrace. I think that's just, you say it all the time about how appreciation is a separator. And it really is because not many people, and it's not because people aren't grateful. It's just they're so busy and they're thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking a little more outwardly, funny enough, things come back.
Yeah. And not only that and it's not always that they're busy or whatever. In many cases, they don't have the strategy, right? Once you have the strategy, the great retrace, the entire paradigm just changes. It's like, oh, so that's how to express my appreciation and show my appreciation instead of just sitting there being appreciative. Being appreciative is a great start, but it's just like any start. It won't evolve into anything unless you take the steps, and the step is the strategy. So
I will say, and this is the last thing I'll say, for a long time, I left out the PS because I was, I don't know what to put there. Like, are they actually going to call me back? And I was like, you know what, I believe in this. I'm just going to do it. So I put like, PS, I have a quick question for you. And I always get a call.
Yep.
Always get a call. And
Yep.
it's just a great way to extend the relationship.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Any final words of wisdom? Somebody's maybe sitting there thinking, you know what, I've heard this good stuff and maybe I'll do event mastery, but I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like what words of wisdom would you give them on throwing an event like a grand opening or a launch party?
Well, before I did the grand opening, I did 2 smaller events, which were new customer parties. And I had, I invited like 60 people and 5 people came. Yeah. And the one thing that I remember from Event Mastery is, you're going to learn things, then you're going to fail, and then you're going to implement better for the next event. Had I not had those smaller events, my grand opening, I would have been learning everything for the first time in the grand opening, and I probably would have made some mistakes there. Yeah. So, the events don't have to be big to have an impact. Right. Probably you can have a greater impact with, more one-on-one conversation with a smaller group of people. That, and then I do think I said this earlier, but just the Facebook community of seeing all the other events, that's helped me realize, oh, here's some other events. And we always hear about I Love You Latte, but there are just so many other events that people are throwing and having a major success with.
Yeah. That's awesome. I appreciate that. I mean, so much value today, Parker. I love the implementation. I love where you're going with it. What is amazing is I'm hearing you're in growth mode in a big way with Referral Mastery System and also in your business. And there's nothing more attractive than growth. And just keep growing, man. Keep going, keep growing, keep doing what you're doing. And it's just It's awesome. I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And I don't know if it's going to hold many more children, but I think it's one of those
We're
where,
taking a break.
Yeah. Well, that's
Taking a
famous
break.
last words right there. Yeah. We're just going to relax and not worry about it anymore. Bang, bang, 5 kids in 5 years,
Right.
But I love the fact that you're not only productive, but you're also reproductive.
Yeah.
That's a really, really powerful part of this Gen thing lately, it seems. So I really appreciate it. And I know everybody here does too. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for being our guest today on Referrals Podcast.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Man, if you are not convinced to do events at this point, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is for anyone, any industry. We can help you. I'll take you 7 weeks, hold your hand, help you host your event, make sure you get plenty of attendees there, and show you how to get referrals at that event. It's referrals guaranteed. Go to eventmastery.com. If you don't like that URL, go to funprospecting.com. You don't like that URL? Go to funleadgeneration.com. I don't care where you go. Just go make it happen. Check us out at Event Mastery, and we'll help you out. Last thing is join gengen.com. You're all invited to join the Generosity Generation. You're already a part of it. You might as well learn how to maximize it. You can do that at joingengen.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. See you, everybody.